Hello, and welcome to Open BXRX Tuesday, a weekly program providing you the latest information, resources, services, and community efforts taking place locally here in the Bronx and virtually. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, and today is Tuesday, July 13th. Coming up, the Rent Guidelines Board recently approved rent increases on rent stabilized apartments. Stay tuned to learn what this means and more with Legal Aid Society. Then we'll discuss the Bronx Council on the Arts Bronx Memoir Project Volume 5, a collective story of the life in the Bronx and beyond. After that, YMCA is growing and expanding in our borough. Learn more about their 2 new locations opening very soon. And we'll talk to the co-founders of Bronx Rolling Skaters as they invite us to skate, chill, and connect through roller skating at St. Mary's Park in the Bronx. So please stay tuned. Open BXRX Tuesday starts now. Welcome to Open BXRX Tuesday on BronxNet. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, and I'd like to invite you to get social with us at BronxNet TV on Instagram and Twitter, and BronxNet Community Television on Facebook. Back in May, New York State lawmakers passed legislation that would extend a statewide moratorium on residential and commercial evictions, hoping to provide relief to tenants during COVID-19. However, last month, the Rent Guidelines Board, which determines rent increases for New York City's roughly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments, voted to enact a mid-year rent hike over the opposition of both tenant groups and landlords. Joining us to discuss what this means and more is Robert Desir, staff attorney at Legal Aid Society. Welcome, Robert. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me onto your show.
Of course. Good morning. So we're talking about this very important topic today. Before we start, Robert, can you just help us define what the RGB is and what exactly they do?
Sure. The Rent Guidelines Board consists of 9 members, all of which are appointed by the mayor and serve at the pleasure of the mayor, apart from the head of the Rent Guidelines Board, who serves a specific term. So of these 9 members, there are 5 public members, there are 2 tenant representatives and 2 owner representatives. Together, they make a decision about what rent adjustments are going to take place for leases that start as of October 1st or thereafter of that year. So, for example, the recent decision that the board made would affect leases that start as of October 1st of this year or any time thereafter. They make decisions on adjustments for 1-year leases and 2-year leases.
Thank you for that, Robert. And as you said, the RGB recently voted to allow 1.5% rent increases on rent stabilized units. What does this mean for tenants and landlords? And if you could just help us understand the difference between a rent stabilized unit and other units, that would also be helpful for our viewers.
Sure. So a rent stabilized unit is a unit that is protected by the Rent Stabilization Law and the Emergency Tenant Protection Act. With that come a number of protections. The increases that can be imposed on a renewal lease are limited by the Rent Guidelines Board adjustments, and also by whether there were improvements to the apartment or building-wide improvements. A tenant in a rent-stabilized apartment is entitled to a renewal lease unless there's cause to not renew this lease. And the cause to not renew the lease must be one of these specific factors that are listed in the statute. So there's tenor of lease, there is protection against arbitrary increases, and also there's the ability to pass on the apartment to a family member that meets the criteria that is put into the law. None of those features are available in market rent apartments where there is no right to renew a lease. The rent can be increased from one lease to another at any amount that the landlord decides. And there isn't the same ability to pass on the apartment to a relative. There are a number of other features that distinguish rent stabilized apartments, but I think these are the main ones. For this year, the Rent Guidelines Board did something a little bit different. Typically, they would decide on what the adjustment would be for a one-year lease and what it would be for a two-year lease. And then in this instance, they split the first year. So for example, if someone decides to renew their lease and renew for only 1 year, the first 6 months of that term, they will not get a rent increase. They will be at 0%. For the last 6 months of that term, their rent will increase by 1.5%. So for example, if you have a rent that is $1,000 and your lease will commence in November 1st, then for November 1st and the next 6 months, there will be no rent increase. For the last 6 months of that lease, the rent will increase 1.5%. So for someone who has a rent of $1,000, after 6 months, their rent will increase by $150. Sorry, $15. In addition, for 2-year leases, the board decided to increase rents by 2.5%. So using the same example, someone whose rent was $1,000, their rent would increase by $25. And for the 2-year lease option, there isn't this split that we see with the 1-year option. It is 2.5 for the entire term.
Got it. And Robert, you said that this takes into effect October 1st, correct?
Well, if your lease starts, for leases that start as of October 1st or anytime thereafter. So if your lease expires and the new term is going to start October 1st or anytime thereafter up until the board makes another decision, which would go into effect October 2022, then that would affect your rent going forward.
Got it. Thank you for that. So the Supreme Court recently refused to lift the moratorium on evictions that had been imposed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Can you help us understand this as well?
Sure. The CDC moratorium that was set to expire on June 30th will now expire on June 31st. Because there are 94 district courts on the federal level throughout the country, there are different decisions that may be had on challenges to the CDC moratorium. So in some cases, some courts decided to uphold the moratorium. In one case, the court said that the Centers for Disease Control did not have the authority under the Public Health Service Act to issue the moratorium and struck it down. When this kind of thing happens in the federal courts, usually it will go to the Supreme Court to make one decision to allow for some cohesiveness and for predictability. So in this case, the Supreme Court did not lift the moratorium. So it will remain in effect until July 31st and protect people in what's called covered housing from eviction. Covered housing is a term of art. It means a household where the income is up to $99,000, where there's been a loss of income, where there's been some effort to seek rent relief, and where the household would be rendered homeless if the eviction was not prevented from going forward. That should not be confused with the New York State moratorium. The New York State moratorium extends until August 31st. And if a tenant can submit a hardship declaration showing that they've had a loss of income due to COVID after March 13th, then they can stop any case from going forward, even before the eviction. They can stop their landlord from filing any case against them. And if there is a case currently pending, they can stop it going forward, whether there's been a judgment, whether the case is in its beginning stages. So the state moratorium provides extended protection in that it will go past the July 31st date that the CDC moratorium will expire. Mm-hmm. And all indications were from the White House that they would not extend the CDC moratorium past July 31st.
Got it. Thank you, Robert. Let's say a tenant is struggling to pay their rent through COVID-19. What are some rights that they should know of? I know you mentioned the hardship declaration form. Where can tenants access this form? Is it coming from a landlord, online? And is there anything else that you can share with us at this time?
Well, in some cases where landlords are supposed to be sending these declarations to tenants. In some cases where there's, like, for example, a default judgment, a tenant hasn't shown up in court for whatever reason, a landlord will have to demonstrate that they did in fact send the hardship declaration to the tenant. In some cases, the court may send it to the tenant. Nevertheless, this form is available on the New York State courts.gov website for printing out. And what I would advise tenants to do is to send these to their landlord and send it in a way that they have proof that they sent it. And they can also send them to the courts.
Thank you for that, Robert. Now, Legal Aid also has some helpful resources for tenants via the NY State Rent Relief Program. Who qualifies for this program, and how can people sign up for assistance at this time?
Sure. I believe I gave a phone number that you can call for more information. However, the application is available via the website of the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, the New York State office. And it applies to anyone who owes back rent or utilities that accrued after March 13th. You don't need a lease. You don't need to even have a housing court case pending. It covers not only back rent, but it can also cover, in some circumstances, future rent up to 3 months. There's no regard to immigration status. And as I mentioned, they must meet the income requirements. I believe you just flashed that. And most important, the applying tenant has to show that they suffered some hardship. Some examples of that are whether you receive unemployment benefits, demonstrating a loss of income, demonstrating that you have incurred costs to care for yourself or a relative due to COVID-related sickness. In addition, also childcare costs. These are some of the factors that you can show, but that's not a complete list. Obviously, there are a lot of unique circumstances, so people will have opportunities to show that they did, in fact, suffer some hardship due to COVID, rendering them unable to either pay their rent or utilities.
Got it. And Robert, where do these funds go when someone is approved? Do they go directly to the tenant or to the landlord? How does it work?
Once an application is approved, funds are paid to the tenant. To the landlord to cover back rent. There are also obligations on the landlord to not evict the tenant for a time certain after these funds have been paid to them. So landlords that participate have some obligations to keep tenants in place. And this goes in line with the philosophy of avoiding homelessness and keeping people in place, particularly people who have suffered hardship due to COVID.
Thank you so much, Robert, for your time today. Before we go, we did share the information on screen, but if you can share how folks can find out more and sign up for rent relief and also contact Legal Aid in case they need any assistance, please provide that at this time.
Sure. You can contact Legal Aid at Twitter and on Facebook. Our phone number in the Bronx is 718-991-4600. Regarding the rent relief program that is run by New York State, you can contact the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, is otda.gov. And then there's also the phone number that provides information about the rent relief program that I believe I supplied as well.
Yeah, that phone number is 212-298-3490. You can also visit bit.ly/rent relief help. Capitalize the letters on each word. Thank you so much, Robert, for your time today and for sharing more information on this.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You as well. We'll be right back here on Open BXRX Tuesday.
We know that people are dealing with the health crisis, but there's also a lot of food insecurity.
We're giving out healthy food options, and that's what's key here.
If you're a senior, you have a disability, they'll actually deliver meals to you.
The residents are anxious, they're worried, they're scared, and they want to be tested.
When things were happening in our community,
and we couldn't get the help.
There's almost a presumption of criminality that attaches to your skin color.
The site will prioritize those who are at highest risk in the population.
If you feel symptoms and you'd like to visit one of these COVID-19 testing sites here in the Bronx, you may call the State Health Department's hotline.
Important to note about this site is no reservations are needed. This is a walk-in clinic.
A lot of us are out of work and looking for something to do.
We have the machinery and the skills to make large scales of these masks and gowns.
Take care of your people. It's going to go way further than we actually can understand.
Right now, employees like myself are just adjusting to the new reality.
Reporting from Bronx, this is Sharlene. Welcome back. Filled with narratives of diverse genres from essays to nonfiction to poetry, the Bronx Memoir Project Volume 5 tells a collective story of life in the Bronx and beyond. Joining us now to share more about this anthology and more are Viviana Bianchi, Executive Director of the Bronx Council on the Arts, and Pablo Di Castillo, a photographer from the Bronx. Welcome. Thank you both for joining us today.
It's incredible to be here. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you for having me as well. Great to see you all.
Great seeing you as well. Always a pleasure to have the Bronx Council on the Arts on BronxNet. So Viviana, to start, can you tell us about the Bronx Council on the Arts, your mission, and how the council has continued to support Bronx artists, especially during one of the toughest years for creatives during the pandemic?
It's true. Well, the Bronx Council on the Arts is going to hit its 60th anniversary next year. So we've been in the community for 62 years as a pioneer and advocate for cultural equity. And we really seek to nurture the development of a diverse array of artists and arts organizations in the borough. And we do that through programs that build connections, provide resources, and advocates for equitable practices. That's really the core of what we do. And last year, of course, it was difficult for everybody. And we definitely continue to offer all the programs that we do online. And I think what artists were the most grateful for was, of course, our grants program and professional development workshops and convenings that we held. We also were part of the Cultural Solidarity Fund that supported artists with microgrants. So we were just trying to be present there, basically for them as much as possible.
Right. I definitely miss seeing you all at the Longwood Art Gallery, for instance, at Hostos Community College. It was always such a beautiful time to see the work of the council and artists in collaboration at that space in particular. But we'll be back soon. I hope to see you all soon again.
Hopefully in the fall we'll be there. And little thing about how do we support artists, for us is like through open calls and employment, through teaching artists and so on and so forth. It's a way of, sustaining a little bit of the artist as well.
Right. And speaking of that open artist call, so you do have a couple of artists, and the council has their 5th edition of the Bronx Memoir Project anthology. Congratulations on that. Can you tell us about the anthology over the years and this one this year?
Yes, the Bronx Memoir Project is one of our flagship programs. This is the 5th anthology. And basically we gather a community of writers from the Bronx and who write short stories, either poetry, narrative, essays, documenting memories that they bring with them and their lives. And this year was particularly important as many people, I think, experience the Bronx Memoir Project as a way to deal with trauma, pain, loss. So this year, it focuses a little bit on the crisis with COVID and how people felt and remembered those that they lost, those that they survived, different experiences that they went through. Is really a moving volume. And every year it is, because it brings a different thing, but this time it's really full of remembrances of what happened. Also, this year, is the Bronx Memorial Project, as the title says, is dedicated to Bronx writers. But because we had to do it online, we welcomed writers from all over the place, international and also from the United States, from all over. So you're going to see in this volume a few stories as an appendix for those writers who are from outside the Bronx.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Viviana. And I'm glad that we have one of the artists here today, photographer Pablo Castillo. Thank you so much for joining us, Pablo. So your photo was chosen for the cover art of this project. And I think the picture is incredible. The photo is incredible. Congratulations on being chosen. Can you tell us about this particular piece and your work as a photographer as a whole?
So yeah, this particular piece, first of all, it's an honor to be a part of this organization and have my image chosen as the cover of this anthology. As you know, the image is very thought-provoking and captivating, and it complements all the stories and poets of this year. This image was taken during sunset, during golden hour, and it was one of those moments that I didn't expect to happen. It was pretty cloudy the whole day, and around 4 or 5 p.m., after work, I saw the skies was just, flooding up with beautiful colors, and I rushed home as fast as I could. I went home, grabbed my camera, went to my rooftop, and captured the image.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I think it's gorgeous, and I love a lot of your photography. You have you capture sunsets a lot, and people can check out the work that you have. It would be
Thank
wonderful.
you so much. Yeah, so my work, I love capturing sunsets or sunrises, usually from vantage points around the city, and also long exposures at night. So that's capturing light trails and light paintings, and I usually get really creative with my images. And yeah.
As a Bronx artist, what does the Bronx Council on the Arts' support mean to you personally? If you can share that, Pablo.
Yeah, so Bronx Council on the Arts is an incredible organization. I feel they're truly supportive of local artists. They grant opportunities for people that don't necessarily have the means or exposure in order to pursue their dreams. And yeah, that's basically
it. Thank you for that. Besides this wonderful anthology, the council also has plenty of resources, as you shared, Viviana, and opportunities for artists from the Bronx. Can you share these with us and how artists can inquire?
Yes, artists, well, right now, let me tell you a little bit about the grants that we're offering right now. We are in, for the first time, with a partnership with the Gilman Foundation, we opened a grant for performing artists and performing arts organizations, where those who apply and receive the grant can get up to $10,000 for development of ideas, or up to $20,000 for a production. This is a very unique grant. It's the first time, at least that I know of, that this, this amount of money is going to be given to local artists by a local organization, by a Bronx-based organization. So we're very excited about it, encourage everybody to apply. We're also in partnership with the Department of Cultural Affairs and the New York Foundation for the Arts City Artist Corps grant program, which will award $5,000 to qualifying artists just to do a small community engagement. And those are running in 3 cycles. The second cycle just opened. And both opportunities, of course, can be found on our website, bronxarts.org. I encourage you to go there and see all the grant opportunities. There are also informational sessions coming up. And I advise that those that want to apply, attend one of those. We're doing it online right now. We will have one in person or hybrid in person and streaming soon. But anyway, those sessions will allow people to know how to, write and craft a better proposal. Also, the idea is to reach as many artists as possible. So there are going to be translations in Spanish and other languages. And we're going to be working very closely with the artists in crafting their applications. In the fall, we're going to come up with our community engagement grants. So I also encourage you to be in tune for that. And those are the 3 main grant opportunities that we have right now.
Thank you, Viviana, for sharing. So, you artists at home, you have the support, homegrown support here in the Bronx with the Bronx Council on the Arts. So make sure to visit bronxarts.org for more information on those grants and opportunities and resources that are available to you. So before we go, you also have a virtual exhibit currently on view. Can you tell us about Lucky to Be Here and how we can view this exhibit?
Yes, also I think our website, we designed the website last year, or we finished it last year, with the intention for it to become a real place for people to visit and find all the array of resources that we have. The Lucky to Be Here, the exhibition is, you can also reach it through bronxarts.org. This is one of the first sliders you will find, click in there, and it's a collection of 8 or 9 artists. The curator is Rachel Silovsky. She did an amazing work of exploring archetypes of home through different mediums, and the artists really talk very in depth about their visions and what they do. There's the bios are there, and so I encourage you all. The closes on August 18th, so I encourage everyone to visit it. It's right online, and it's really a pleasure to look at the high resolution images that are listed there, plus all the other information that is there. And hopefully we will go back to the Longwood Art Gallery at Hostos in the fall. It's the 40th anniversary this year. So yes, just, visit us, either whether virtually or in person in the fall.
Yes, and stay tuned. We'll be here with you. We'll be supporting with whatever the Bronx Council in the Arts wants to come on BronxNet. You're welcome here so that you can promote. And we'll be there also at the Longwood Art Gallery without missing a beat.
Sounds good. That's great.
Finally, how can we purchase the anthology and support Bronx artists and the Bronx Council on the Arts, if you can provide that information?
Sure. You can go directly to Amazon and purchase it, a hard copy or a Kindle edition, but also you can go through our website and go to the Bronx Memoir Project page, and there's a button right there that takes you to Amazon as well. We hope to have hardcovers as in a couple of weeks, and so those that can come by the office. We are coming back in person to our headquarters in Westchester Square. So, give us a call if you want to come in person, and we'll make sure to have a hard copy for you as well.
Gracias. Thank you, Viviana. And Pablo, before we go, can you just share how we can follow you and keep up with your work?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram or YouTube at Pablo D. Castillo Jr. or at In the Bronx.
Perfect. Thank you both so much for joining us today and sharing more about this wonderful anthology. Congrats to all the artists and to the Bronx Council on the Arts.
Thank you so much
for having us.
Of course. We'll be right back here on Open BXRX Tuesday.
you're struggling to afford your internet bills during the pandemic, there's a temporary government program that may be able to help. It's called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and it provides up to $50 monthly discount on your broadband bill to qualifying households. Find more information about the program, including if you qualify and how to enroll, at fcc.gov/broadbandbenefit, or call toll-free at 833-511-0311. That's 833-511-0311.
Welcome back. In order to keep upholding their mission to empower youth, improve health, and strengthen community, the YMCA is seeking to expand 2 new locations in the Bronx. The La Central YMCA in the South Bronx and the Northeast Bronx YMCA will open very soon to serve tens of thousands of residents each year. Joining us now to share more is Sharlene Brown, Executive Director of Castle Hill YMCA. Welcome back, Sharlene. Always nice having you on the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And it's always good to be here.
Of course. So before we get into these new locations, summer camp has started at the YMCA. What are some activities that Bronxites can currently enjoy through the Y, virtually and in person?
Okay, so here at the Castle Hill YMCA and all YMCAs of Greater New York, summer's here. You know, we love summer at the Y, and this is a special summer, especially because our kids who missed so much of the last year, you know, our team is gearing up. And we have gotten started. And as summer has kicked back in, we are ready for the kids. We have provided an outlet for them to learn, grow, and have fun. Some of the things they will be doing is sports, arts and crafts, STEM, music, dance, and water fun activities.
Hey, thank you so much for sharing, Sharlene. That sounds amazing and exciting for our kids to finally get out there. As you said, you know, it's been a tough year for our children, especially, you know, remote learning and with all the adversities that have come through this past year collectively. So thank you for that. So applications, from my understanding, are they closed now? Are families still able to apply?
Families can still sign up. Camp runs on 2-week sessions. We are in session 1. So every 2 weeks, there is a session started. Camps can just go into any YMCA and sign up for camp.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So Sharlene, we're excited that the Y is looking to open 2 new locations very soon in the Bronx. Can you tell us about the new locations and where they'll be and when we can visit?
Okay, so yes, we are glad that the Y is finally growing in the Bronx. In collaboration with the Bronx community, local leaders, and elected officials, we have created 2 new branches. These branches will help our residents achieve their full potential with our signature programs in empowering youth, improving health, and strengthening the community. The La Central Y is in the South Bronx at Bergen Avenue. It's right between 149th Street and Westchester Avenue. And the Northeast Bronx YMCA is at 229th Street and Shefflin Place. There we will serve many residents, and we're serving everyone from the young to the old. And also it gives us an opportunity to create new jobs. Both locations are scheduled to open in the fall.
Wonderful. And we're going to be neighbors because BronxNet is also going to be at La Central over here in Virgin Avenue. I actually live right down the block, so I'm always passing by. I'm seeing the development just continue to change and grow. I'm seeing the pool from a distance. There's a pool there for the YMCA. So that's very exciting. So just in case people are wondering at home, that is going to be a new YMCA. And we can't wait. We can't wait to have it here. So Sharlene, can you share and expand some of those activities that Bronxites can expect to enjoy at the Y at La Central and Northeast Bronx?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you're down the hall. I mean, now you get a chance to stay fit with us. So the Northeast Bronx Y, you know, it's set in a urban forest. And at this Y, they're trying to mend the outdoor and the indoor to connect the members to the natural environment. So this Y also has an urban roof garden and a teaching kitchen, as well as a protected outdoor play and program space that will enhance the camp and after school programs. And then you have La Central, like you said, which is right in the middle of the hub over there. This is a 50,000 square foot YMCA, which is anchoring the La Central Mixed Development Project, which will have retail, community, and outdoor recreation space, as well as thousands of mixed income housing units, all within steps from the subway and the bus lines. Both Ys are lucky to have aquatic centers, which will feature around safety around water classes, swim lessons, family recreation. They both will have social, recreational, and health programming for our older adults. Wellness and fitness centers, gymnasiums with basketball courts, and also just space where people can relax and where we can promote community and belonging.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. I definitely got to swim a couple laps over there. I don't know how to swim yet, so
You do
maybe
swim lessons.
I got to come through to the Y. So, Sharlene, why is it so important for the Y to continue expanding in our borough? And currently, how many YMCAs are here in the Bronx?
So currently there's only one in the Bronx here at Castle Hill, soon to change. You know, here at the Y, we are always engaged with our city and we try to focus on ways of how to improve it every day. And it starts with the people in the city. So therefore, we are fortunate to have the individual and the collective opportunity to strengthen our communities through these two new Bronx YMCAs, providing high quality programs and services. We're helping more New Yorkers lead healthier, more connected lives. And you know, as you know firsthand, when a Y enters a neighborhood, it is more than just a recreational center. It is a center of community life where people come together to achieve meaningful change in their lives and find a sense of belonging. So we're excited to bring YMCA to Northeast Bronx and La Central community.
Absolutely. And Sharlene, with these new locations come great opportunities for local Bronxites as well. I know that there's some positions open. Can you tell us about these positions and how people can apply?
Yes. So, you know, when you got a new building, a new Y creates jobs. So we're going to have jobs from lifeguards to camp counselors to after school counselors to program directors or executive directors. There are jobs open on every aspect of the need that it is to run a YMCA. When, you know, and the Y is going to be hiring locally, you know, right in the community to help fuel the economic development of the neighborhood. And people can apply online. They can go to ymcanyc.org/careers.
Got it. Thank you. And I'm sure there are going to be, you know, a bunch of list of positions and qualifications and everything. So please check that out. That's ymcanyc.org/careers. Sharlene, I also just wanted to talk about the Castle Hill Y. It's such a special place. And of course, the only Y in the Bronx. How have things been going over there? You know, how are our seniors, our youth? How's everybody feeling with, you know, summer finally here and the programming starting?
Well, with summer came an opportunity for us to open up our outdoor facility. So as the only Y in New York City, we have an outdoor pool. So we are open for summer memberships, which entail outdoor use of the outdoor classes, the pool, ball field, playground, picnic area. And members are enjoying us. And it's a good feeling to see them back on the ground, as well as the opportunity for them to engage with us.
Absolutely. I know something else you offered were also citizenship classes, etc., help for immigrant families and individuals who need that assistance. Is that still taking place? Is it in person, remote? How can people find out more about that as well?
People can sign up about that. We are offering New American classes. It's all done virtual now. So once they go onto the main website, again, ymcanyc.org, they can sign up for any of the citizenship classes. English is a second language.
And Sharlene, as executive director, how did you get your start at the Y? And why was it important for you to, you know, launch this career at the Y as an executive director?
I've always been a member of the YMCA, and I had the opportunity when I was a member back at the Jamaica YMCA in Queens to start working. I started working at the YMCA at the front desk, and being involved with the community as well as the people in the community just gave me a good feeling, and it made me feel that I was doing something to impact and change lives. So starting there, my career just grew, and here I am today. Been in the Bronx 11 years, loving every minute of the journey.
And we love you too. I'm sure that people listening, you know, if you're interested in joining the Y, you can start as a camp counselor, as a receptionist, and lead your way up to executive director at some point, like Sharlene did.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, if you can just send a message to the Bronx about, you know, picking back up, being together, supporting each other, and coming out to the Y to enjoy some communal energy. Can you just share with us?
Yes. Well, we all know that with the pandemic came a lot of problems, socially, financially, mentally, physically. The YMCA is here to help in every way it can. Many of our Ys throughout the city have housing, have food pantries. We have all type of services. And even though we had to pivot how we done things, we were still here for the community. And that has not changed. So if you would like to be engaged and be a part of the Y, you have opportunities to do that through volunteering as well as donations. But the most important thing is take care of yourself. Join a Y, be active, stay healthy.
And finally, Sharlene, how can people support the Y and your programming? I know that donations are very important as well, but also just those resources again for, how people can find those jobs and stay connected.
Yes. Again, the website, it has all the information you need, YMCANYC.org. And if you would like to talk to me, feel free to call. Phone number 212-912-2490. We would love to have you at the Y in any capacity that you see yourself fitting in, be it member, be it staff, be it volunteer, be it donor.
Thank you so much, Sharlene. So again, the next YMCA locations that are coming to the Bronx are at La Central in the South Bronx by Bergen Avenue on 149th Street. There's another one at Northeast Bronx YMCA. Again, that website to stay connected is ymcanyc.org. Stay tuned for those many programs and amazing events taking place in our community. Thank you, Sharlene, for your time today and for sharing more.
Thank you for having me again.
Of course. We'll be right back here on Open BXRX Tuesday.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back. With a mission to bring roller skating back to the Bronx, two fellow Bronxites began Bronx Rolling Skaters, an initiative meeting every Sunday at St. Mary's Park to skate, chill, connect, and more in the Boogie Down. Joining us now to share more are Bronx Rolling Skaters co-founders Lawrence Todman and Nathan Smith. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. It is a joy to have you both here. So first, for those who are not familiar, can you tell us about Bronx Rolling Skaters, your mission and your vision?
Yeah, perfect. For those that don't know, Bronx Rolling Skaters, our mission is really to provide a safe and healthy, fun and positive roller skating experience in the Bronx. And our vision specifically is that we believe that the people of the Bronx are beautiful people. We get a bad rap, And our vision is really to highlight, foster, and encourage those positive images about the Bronx. We want folks to become active, healthy, fit, all through roller skating. And we want the people of the Bronx, specifically children and adults, to come together to have fun and connect, and spread love and positivity. That's really what we're about.
I hear that. Thank you so much for sharing. And from what we just saw, look how much beauty, of course, is in the Bronx and how beautiful we are right now on this screen. So, gentlemen, it feels like the Bronx hasn't really had a skating location or rink since Skate Key and others skating rinks have been shuttered years ago in our borough. Why was it so important for you to foster this safe space for skaters in the Bronx?
Yeah,
the reason it came because we wanted to get back into skating after going through the pandemic, and you still have that phobia of where can I go, is it safe, and we didn't want to go inside anymore. And when we seen other places, like one roller skating production, they do stuff outside, and we was going to follow them. And then Nathan said to me, why are we going outside our borough to skate with other people? Why we just can't skate and create something here? So that's how it came about. And we started looking for location. We found St. Mary's, and then I just love the ground and the artwork that they did, in the renovation of the park. So I'm like, this got to be it. So we just, linked up, and it became a spot.
That's beautiful. I know they're constructing right now, St. Mary's. So where you skate, that's a safe area, right, for everybody to get in, and it's on the ground near the playground, is it?
Yes. Yes.
Got you. And I would love to learn a little bit more about your skating stories individually. So what has skating meant for each of you, and how did you get started with skating?
Headache.
Well, look, I've been roller skating since I've been a kid. Skate Key in the Bronx, such a wonderful place. And, it shut down, and it just felt like somebody ripped my heart out. So, roller skating is, for me personally, it's an outlet. I feel free when I roller skate. I love it. I love to dance. So it feels like I'm dancing on skates. It's a stress reliever. And I don't really, get into much other physical activity. I used to run, but I can't do that anymore, really. I used to play basketball, but I had a couple of surgeries, so it's not good for me anymore. But the roller skating is top level for me right now.
And Lawrence, please chime in with your story as well.
It started, I've been skating for like over 40 years, and my skating started at Bruckner Boulevard on 149th Street. And we just used to go and have a good time. And back then we used to drink. So it's like, once you inside there and you little tipsy, you're just having a ball. And from there, it just went to different skating rings, and I fell in love with skating. I didn't play basketball a lot. My thing was just, women skating, and I loved it. And that's, I want my kids to love it. I want to feel, free when I skate. I like dancing, so it incorporates itself. It goes well. But I had to stop for a minute. Then get back.
I love it. Thank you both for sharing. So, something that I admire and love about your initiative is that you put the community first. I also appreciate how inclusive it is, that no matter the experience level of a skater, you welcome everyone, Can you tell me about the importance of cross-generational collaboration and unity, and how you elevate this through the art of skating?
Yeah, totally. It's important for us to see both young people and adults working together. That's very, very important for us. It's important for kids to see the older people falling down and getting back up. It's important for them to see that we practice what we preach. And it's important for the older people to pour into the lives of the young people through the art of roller skating. And so that's really our hope, is to make those connections. And we also feel that it is the responsibility of the older generation, to lead the way, because kids will do as we do and not what we say. So if we want to make connections and bridge the generations, it's the responsibility of us as the older folks to make it happen. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Absolutely. I love that. And, just to elaborate a little bit more, can you tell us about your hopes and your priorities for skate culture and also just, community in the Bronx?
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
the skate culture is going to live on, and we're trying to make that possible by just being out there, sharing stories, going to other functions and events. Let people know like skating is great. It's great communication. It's great involvement. It's great for the health. It builds relationships. One of the things that you always gonna see is somebody wanting to learn, and somebody always going back down memory lane, remembering when their mother used to take them skating, or their uncle or family member. So that has to continue on. It's not gonna die just because skate rings are not open. It's not gonna, never gonna die. And we have the opportunity to continue to keep it alive, through what we're doing. And I believe a lot of the skating rinks is going to lose out because a lot of the skating is going to come outside.
Right, right. And, it's really important for us to have people utilize these parks within New York City because we basically have no roller rinks, as Lawrence said, within New York City, virtually none. And so due to COVID, there has been an uptick in roller skating activity. You can see it all across New York City. You can see it all in social media. It's happening. Folks are aware, politicians are aware that it's happening. And so, our mission and our goal right now is to get folks outside of the house and into these New York City parks and get them active and moving. And we really want, designated roller skating spaces within New York City parks. There's been some chatter about it. There's been some buzz, but we honestly feel that the city and the parks have an obligation to respond to the community. And in order to do that, we want them to listen to what we have to say, and we want them to respond. The community needs an answer as to why there are no designated spaces in New York City parks for roller skaters. There are spaces for basketball players, tennis players, volleyball players, rollerbladers, skateboarders, runners, bikers, right? But there's no designated spaces for roller skaters, right? To skate injury free in New York City parks. And so we feel that that's something that, we deserve as New York City residents, as Bronx residents, we deserve that. We want the city to offer folks, free skate rentals, right? If we're utilizing the spaces within the parks that we're paying for, right? Help us out. Let's get the kids out there. Let's get the adults out there. Let's get them involved and healthy and moving so that we can have, what we really want, which is a better community.
I'm all the way down with all of these priorities. And, I'm going to say that I'm biased because I love skating and this is what I want for the community. And I'm right with y'all. If we can make it happen, let's make it happen. I know that the more folks get out and skate with Bronx Rolling Skaters and other collectives throughout the boroughs, the more that people will see the need for these communal spaces for us to skate safely. I wanted to share that I started off with the Fisher Price joints when I was a kid. And it was like those plastic joints, I wish I had I used to bust my behind wearing them, but it was all good. That's how you learn, But in case someone is considering starting, Lawrence and Nathan, what advice would you give them? Can you also share some of the benefits of skating as well? He's still cracking up.
It's important for folks who are looking to getting into skating to do their research on the type of skate, the type of skate that they prefer, right? Everything from the boot to the wheels, to the mechanics of the skate, to its construction, to its style, right? That's something that folks should look into. Secondly, it's important for folks to just take their time, right? There's no need to rush. There's no need to go from 0 to 100. You need to just learn how to crawl before you can fly. And so, finding someone that, will take the time to teach and show you something is important so that you can, as much as possible, stay injury free. And along those lines, it's important for folks to get the necessary protective equipment that they need in order to, get into roller skating. Helmets, elbow pads, knee pads, wrist guards are a safe way to go. Moreover, with respect to the benefits of roller skating, there's so many benefits, right? It's fun. It teaches you a new skill. It's actually classified by the American Heart Association as an aerobic exercise because it literally works your heart out. It gets the blood pumping. It improves circulation. It gets the heart rate up to 148 beats per minute. Skating for just 1 hour a week, right? That's a week. Not even talking about, a day, right? Can burn between 330 and 600 calories, right? And so, I can go on and on and on about the benefits of roller skating, but the last thing I'll say about that is, it does improve, your muscle endurance. It works most major muscle groups: quads, glutes, abs, hammies, calves, all of that, right? So there's so many different benefits that one could get from roller skating.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And without further ado, let's invite Bronxites to join you this Sunday and every Sunday at St. Mary's Park. Please tell us where we can meet, what time, how we can get there, all that good stuff, so we can get out there and work those glutes, work that heart, all that stuff.
All right, Bronx Roller Skaters is at St. Mary's Park every Sunday. You can find us inside the park at 147th Street and St. Anne's Avenue. Closer to the tennis court section of the park. And that's where we are, vibing with the community, spreading love, spreading positivity. We're out there showing folks a thing or two, making connections with kids and adults. Some folks just come out to enjoy the music and they sit down and watch, while others, throw the skates on and get out there and get into it with us. So, if you're not doing anything on Sundays, come out and just vibe out with us.
I'll see y'all there. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Lawrence, for joining us today and sharing more about your initiative, Bronx Rolling Skaters.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks, that's all for our show today. I'm your host, Sonyi Lopez, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. Pull up to skate at St. Mary's this Sunday with the Bronx Rolling Skaters, and I'll see you next time.